hold on just a minute. I think we need to go back a few steps. I was already to the point where I was putting the rows up on the wall, but I haven't shown you this kit from Fabric Hut called the Iris Quilt Kit. Let's get back to the beginning before we go back to the middle. I want to show you what you get in your kit. This is the bag that you will get. This has all of your strips cut up for you. It has all of the strips that go on either side once you sew these strips together. It has the binding. It has the squares, these squares that you use when you make your rows. The detailed pattern is also in here, and you get your backing. Now, this is a wonderful kit. And let me show you what you do with it. So you do not have to do any cutting. Like none. No cutting. What you start with are strips that look like this. And what you're going to do is put these strips in sets of 2, 5, 7, and 9. So you're going to just place them however you want. There's no set way. And this would be a set of 7. So that's 6, and there's 7. And you'll sew these together using a 1/4 inch seam. Now these aren't actually part of the kit. I've cut those out from 2.5 inch strips because this pattern can be used over and over and over. And depending on the colors you use, you'll get something different every time. There are also different sizes. So you've got a baby size, a lap size, a twin size. And on the back, it tells you how much fabric you need for each size. I have already started cutting out my 2.5 inch strips for my next quilt. And I don't know if I said the name of the quilt. It is the Iris Quilt. So here you have your set of 2, and then you have the white that is the border for each side. Once you've sewn those together, you get this. The same goes for the 5, the 7, and the 9. And like I said, your strips are already cut. Once you sew everything together, then you use this great layout guide in order to lay out the quilt. You don't have to have a design wall. Actually, I think the floor would work really well because even the lap is big. So I think you could probably more easily lay this out on the floor than on the design wall. So now let's go see the quilt. I am busy putting my rows together, and I ran across a mistake that I made. So you get this wonderful diagram to put your quilt together. So I was counting just to make sure that everything was good so far, and I noticed that when I held up my diagram like this, there was one end that had 7 strips, where the other end has a 5 strip piece. I put a 7 strip piece. Pay close attention to your diagram. Who knows what other mistakes I've made. So I'm going to trade this one out for the right size. This has 5 strips. The pattern calls for 7. So before you sew your rows together, make sure that you look at your diagram and count your strips. It'll save you some seam ripping. Keep in mind when you're working on this, we are putting the quilt where our rows are going straight across. But this quilt is on point. So once we get all of our rows together, we are going to cut it down. And, you know, I'm easily confused. So I grabbed a sticky note and I'm placing the sticky note under the row that I'm working on. And I'm hoping that'll make it a little easier to read. Then I have to count. So my design wall is not big enough to hold this. But I can see here I have a block with 7 and then a block with 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then I have a block with 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then I have a block with 5, and then I have a block with 5. So I just need to add that next block, and I have another row done. So the rows are going to go in more, and at some point, my next row is the widest row. So after that, they'll start to get skinnier again. So I've put the top way up in hopes that I will have enough room to go all the way down. And I'm using pins because there's just too much weight. There is a common theme. So here we have a 5 block in the center going sideways. Then we have 2 blocks going long ways. Then we have this 9 piece going this way. Yeah, I don't even know if I did that right. Okay, let's see. 2, 1, let's see, that's supposed to match that. And no, I didn't. Ugh. Okay, so this should match here, and this should match here. So I'm going to be ripping out another. I have my quilt together. So we put it together in rows that are straight across. But when we trim it, we're going to trim it like this. I think to be safe, I want to mark with an erasable pen where I'm going to trim. So if you look at this, you can see I'm not trimming a whole lot. So I don't want to mess this up. Once you cut it, you could sew it back together, but it's going to be a lot easier if I don't have to. So let's take this guy to the big cutting mat and see what we can do. So the first thing that I need to do is figure out exactly how I need to lay this out. And it looks like the top goes in the left-hand corner. So I have to find the top. I know that the bottom is just this one little purple guy right here. So I found the bottom. It should be easy to find the top. All right, here is the top. Right here. So I'm going to put that, it helps if I hold it the right way, like this. and then lay it out. And where the little indentations are, so here you can see, well, no, you can't. So here, and it's just like this on the other side, you have this little mountain, valley mountain. So I need to line up my valleys. I have my quilt laid out. This is the top, and then at the bottom there was one little lone purple square. So I believe I have it laid out correctly. I have my ruler, and if I look at the book, what gets cut off are the valleys. So you have a mountain and a valley, and then you have a mountain and a valley. So you draw the line where the valley is, but actually it isn't the valley that gets cut off, it's the mountain. So I'm lining up my ruler on the valleys, and then the mountains get cut off. And I have come back to where I started. So now let's use the rotary cutter. My quilt top is complete. Isn't it cool? So we took the time to make our rows straight, and then we cut the mountains off the edges, and there you go. You've got a quilt on point. I want to take time to thank Fabric-Hut for sending me this quilt kit. And the name of the quilt is the Iris Quilt. And also, Fabric-Hut sent me a second kit. So, I'm going to have a link to a Google Doc in my description. And if you would like to be in the drawing to win the quilt kit so that you can make a quilt just like this, go to the doc, fill it out, and I'll be drawing in 2 weeks. I have some very exciting news, and I will give more information as the months go on. But I'm going to be taking a trip to Ireland with Craft Tours, and I want to invite you to come along with me. It's 9 days. It is next September of 2025, and it is with a company called Craft Tours, who have 30 years of experience on creating these types of trips for people who like crafting. So not only will we see Ireland, the beautiful country, but we'll also get to see some of the crafts that are done in Ireland. I will put a link in the description below. I want to do some shout outs. I would like to say thank you to Julie, Anita, and Paula for buying me coffee. I will put a link in the description below that will take you to this quilt at Fabric-Hut. Keep in mind, everything you need except for the batting comes with this quilting kit. I like that. I like not having to find a backing. Here is the backing that I know I'm going to be putting on my quilt. I also have the binding, and I can use this pattern over and over again for multiple sizes. So, if you're interested, check out the link below. Please subscribe if you like what you see. It helps me get more exposure in YouTube, and the more exposure, the closer to that silver play button I will get. And I want to say thank you for all of your support, all of your kind comments. You all are the best. Have a great day, eat some chocolate, and be kind to everyone. Until next time, bye.